This video will show you how to download and configure Kali Linux within VirtualBox using the most recent version as of January 2019. Kali Linux is an industry standard for pen testers and will be the operating system used to exploit numerous intentionally vulnerable VMs during this course. Associated URLs and commands for this lab will be included in a text file. As the technology we're using evolves, the version of Kali Linux and some of the commands shown may be slightly different. However, I frequently update my courses as needed when there are big technological changes that have considerable impact on its usability. As with anything related to my course, please reach out to me via the messaging or Q&A system if you have any trouble. However, to receive the maximum benefit from my course, I suggest you attempt troubleshooting on your own by using the many resources contained within the web and the most powerful resource of all, your brain. As a pen tester, Google will be your best friend. Learn how to use it and how to troubleshoot errors and find information about exploits and vulnerabilities. The first step is to download and install VirtualBox from virtualbox.org. which we won't be covering in the course because that's very simple. Once you have VirtualBox installed, we'll need to download the most recent version of Kali Linux for VirtualBox from Offensive Security's download page. Once again, these links are supplied in a text file with the lecture. Otherwise, you could just Google Kali Linux download. We're going to be using the Kali Linux VirtualBox image, which is located here, the 64-bit OVA file. Click that link to download. Now go to the folder location where you downloaded the OVA file and double-click it. This will open it with VirtualBox Manager. Once again, if you don't have VirtualBox, you'll need to download and install it from virtualbox.org. When prompted, click Import. First, let's make sure that we have a host-only network set up. Host-only is a form of networking that is completely isolated within the host computer, having no internet connectivity. We need this so that our VMs can communicate with one another. To check this, click File, click Host Network Manager. Now make sure that we have a VirtualBox host-only Ethernet adapter here. If you don't have one, we can create it. To do that, click Create. Click Configure Adapter Automatically. Check the Enable DHCP Server box. Now you're good to go with the host-only interface. Click Close. Now let's change a few of the virtual machine settings. Right-click Kali Linux. Click Settings. I'm going to rename my virtual machine. You don't have to. Go to System. I'm going to raise my RAM to about 32 gigs. If you don't have that much, just raise it to about half of the RAM that you have. Also, for a pointing device, you're going to want to change that to PS2 mouse. Otherwise, it won't boot with the configuration that we're using. Click Processor. I'm going to raise mine to 4. Go to the Network tab. Click Adapter 2. Check Enable Network Adapter. Change it to Host Only Adapter. Now make sure that you have a Host Only Ethernet adapter name selected. This may have been created earlier or already exists. Next, go to USB. Uncheck Enable USB Controller, otherwise the VM won't boot properly. Click OK. Now with Kali Linux highlighted, let's click Start. The username and password by default is root, lowercase r-o-o-t, and lowercase t-o-o-r. Now open up a terminal. You can do this by clicking the terminal icon on the left-hand side. Now I'm going to change the preferences. I suggest you make them how you like it. To do this, click Edit, Preferences, click to add a new profile. I'm going to name mine Jesse. Click Create. I'm going to change the custom font, raise it to 17. This will make it easier for the students to view it. Now I'm going to go to Colors, change the transparency of the background because I don't like it that way. Now set my new profile as the default. So this is how I like it, but you configure this how you want to. It's all up to you. Now let's go over ifconfig, which shows the network interfaces. This is a very important command to troubleshoot your network connectivity. If you followed my guide, ETH0 is the NATed interface with internet connectivity, and ETH1 is the host-only interface, which will be used to communicate only with other host-only VMs. Type in ifconfig. Now immediately I realize that there is no IP address assigned to ETH1. If ETH0 or ETH1 does not have an IP address assigned, you'll need to fix that. To do this, we can run the following command. Type in service, smbd restart, and dhclient, and the interface that does not have the IP address assigned. In my case, it is ETH1. Afterwards, let's run ifconfig again to make sure that we have an IP address assigned by DHCP. As you can see here, now we have an IP address for ETH1. Now let's make sure that we can ping a public-facing IP address to test internet connectivity. To do this, type ping 8.8.8.8. This is going to send a ping request to Google's DNS. All right. The ping works, so that means we have internet connectivity. At this point, it's a best practice to take a snapshot. This will save this point in time of your VM, and you can restore it if anything goes wrong. To do that, click Machine, Take Snapshot. I'm going to name it Fresh Install, and click OK. Now let's run an update and upgrade command to make sure that all the packages and such are up to date. To do this, type in apt-get update and apt-get-y upgrade. This is going to select the default configuration for everything. If prompted at any time, just select the default by pressing Enter. Once the update and upgrade commands have completed, we are done with the Kali Linux setup and can move on to our next labs.